Most people didn't notice a very significant announcement made on January 15th by the FDA. Now, the FDA is short for the Food and Drug Administration, and it's a government agency which has the task of regulating the products that go into our food, our drugs. And on January 15th, the FDA banned red dye number 3. Red dye number 3 is one of 7 colored food dyes that's in our food system. And companies now have 2 years to comply. So red dye number 3 is in thousands of products, and companies must get rid of it within 2 years. Why do food companies put colored dyes in our food anyway? It's a serious question. Maybe you haven't thought about it. Have you ever thought about whether or not you want food dyes, synthetic food dyes in our food? They do it because these colors in our food supposedly make the food more interesting, more fun, more attractive. Red dye number 3 is in, like I said, thousands of products. Think about red drinks, candy, popcorn, sweets, frostings, ice cream, and also some products you might not think of, like processed meats, hot dogs, sausage, even medications. So red dye is found throughout our food system. And where did these food dyes come from? Well, in the 19th century, chemists were developing food dyes for the wool and silk industry. And at the time, it was somewhat popular to take an inferior food and put an additive in it to mask some impurity or some coloring or flavor deficiency. And at the time, a lot of these additives included things like lead, mercury, and arsenic, and also these coal tar dyes. Well, things got so bad that eventually Congress decided to step in, and they created the Food and Drug Act of 1906. And at that time, they allowed 7 of these colored food dyes into our food system. Coal tar dyes are called. And you have to admit, looking back at the time, that these were probably an improvement over things like lead, mercury, and arsenic. So these food dyes have been allowed in our food system since at least 1906. And over the years, we've done a lot of research, and we have, understand the risks of these things a lot better. As far back as 1990, our country determined that the red dye number 3 was somewhat toxic and dangerous, and we banned them in cosmetics. A few years later, the European Union said red dye number 3 is to be banned altogether. We're not going to use it at all. With one exception, they continue to allow it in maraschino cherries. So that's what makes them that bright red color. So we're at a place now where red food dye number 3 is banned in cosmetics. We're not allowed to apply it to our skin because we know it's a carcinogen, but it's still allowed in our food and fed to our children. Well, in 2021, a study was finally completed and published that led to some action. The study was done by an organization in California called the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment. It's quite a mouthful. And they did an extensive study, and they studied the relationship between colored food dyes, particularly red dye number 3, and behavioral issues in children. And you can read the study if you want. It's publicly available, but in order to skip the 300 pages of reading, the summary is that there's a direct link between these colored food dyes and behavioral issues in children. And some of the behavioral issues that they found a very direct correlation with is inattention and hyperactivity. So think of all the ADHD talk that's happened over the last few generations, all the medications that have been out. Well, it turns out some of that probably is linked to one particular ingredient in food, which is red dye number 3. So most people haven't ever thought about this before, that all of the fun candies and colored drinks and even meats and pills that we take have additives in the food that's linked to behavioral issues of children and also other significant health issues. Ingredients like these are throughout our entire food system, and more people are realizing that we don't want this. For years, food companies have been creating these products. Distributors and grocers have been selling them to us, and they're not healthy for us. They're not helping any of us, and we've been duped. And that's one of the reasons I started Willow Haven Farm General Store. We're here to help people who want to come in and cultivate their health, people who want to eat different. So many people are waking up to these things and asking questions, and we encourage all of these questions. We love to have people come in, and every single day that we're open, we have conversations about the food system, about food in general, and about health with our customers. And we're very proud to be here as a voice for healthy organic food that's produced locally. And we are very thankful and so happy that we've been welcomed into the community, that our customers are so supportive. And we hope that you'll continue to bring up the topics that you want to learn about, that you're concerned about. Please give us a like and a comment to share which other topics you're interested in hearing. And we hope to see you soon at Willow Haven Farm General Store.